Do you ever feel like you know what the right thing to do is, but still don't do it? You tell yourself to stay calm, to stop overthinking, to let go of things you can't control, but your brain fights back. Why? The truth is, your mind is wired to resist Stoicism. It's not just you. It's psychology. Your brain runs on biases, mental shortcuts that kept our ancestors alive, but now sabotage our ability to think logically. So, why does your brain reject Stoic thinking? And how did ancient Stoics overcome these mental blocks centuries before psychology even had a name? Let's break it down. The mental glitches holding you back. Your brain is not built for cold, hard logic. It's built for survival. That means it reacts emotionally, avoids discomfort, and clings to control, even when it's not helping you. Stoicism? It demands the opposite. That's why practicing it feels unnatural at first. Your brain wants to resist it. Let's break down the 3 biggest mental glitches that make Stoicism feel so difficult. Negativity bias. Your brain loves to fixate on the worst. Imagine you get 50 positive comments on something you did, but one person criticizes you. What do you remember? That one comment. That's negativity bias at work. Your brain evolved to focus on threats because, in ancient times, missing a danger could mean death. Stoicism, however, teaches us to detach from external opinions and not let negativity control our emotions. But your brain resists because it thinks focusing on the bad stuff is protecting you. It's not. It's just keeping you anxious and reactive. Ever wonder why news headlines are always negative? Because your brain is wired to pay attention to fear and outrage. But here's the Stoic move. Train yourself to see negativity, acknowledge it, and then let it go. You don't have to engage with every negative thought. The illusion of control. Your brain hates uncertainty. Let's be real, most of us are control freaks in some way. When things don't go our way, we stress, we complain, we try to force an outcome. Why? Because deep down, we believe we should be able to control everything. But the hard truth, most of life is out of our hands. The Stoics knew this. That's why they constantly reminded themselves, some things are up to us, some are not. But your brain hates this idea. It wants certainty. That's why we get frustrated in traffic, argue over things we can't change, and obsess over the future. It's also why people struggle with anxiety. Our minds crave control in a world that doesn't guarantee it. Here's where Stoicism comes in. Instead of fighting for control, focus only on what is truly within your power. Your actions, your mindset, your reactions. Everything else, let it go. That's real freedom. Confirmation bias. Your brain fears being wrong. Ever notice how people double down on their beliefs, even when they're wrong? That's confirmation bias. Your brain filters reality to reinforce what you already believe. For example, if you think someone dislikes you, you'll notice only the times they ignore you. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll focus on every bad thing that happens, but ignore the good. Now imagine a Stoic tells you, your suffering comes from your own thoughts, not reality. That's a hard pill to swallow, right? Your brain resists it because it challenges how you see the world. But the Stoics embraced this discomfort. Epictetus said, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." They train themselves to question their thoughts, instead of just accepting them. If you want to master your mind, you have to be willing to challenge your own beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable. That's what separates a Stoic thinker from the average person. How the Stoics outsmarted their own brains. The Stoics didn't have brain scans, psychology degrees, or neuroscience research, but they figured it out anyway. They developed practical mental hacks to override these biases, techniques that modern psychology has only recently confirmed. Let's break down how they did it. Beating negativity bias. Why Stoics visualized the worst. Your brain loves to obsess over potential dangers. That's why worrying feels automatic. But the Stoics found a way to hack this. Instead of fearing the worst, they imagined it deliberately. This practice, called premeditatio malorum, translates to premeditation of evils. Sounds grim, right? But here's the twist. Visualizing worst-case scenarios actually reduces fear. Seneca advised imagining poverty, exile, and even death, not to dwell on suffering, but to train the mind to stay calm no matter what. Today, psychologists use a similar technique called exposure therapy, where people gradually confront their fears until they lose power. Think about it. If you've already accepted the worst possibility in your mind, what's left to fear? The unknown is no longer a threat. Instead of being ruled by negativity bias, you become mentally prepared for anything. Escaping the control illusion. The power of letting go. Ever get angry at a flight delay? Or frustrated when someone doesn't act the way you want? That's your brain trying to control something uncontrollable. The Stoics knew this was a losing game. Marcus Aurelius had a simple mantra. Some things are up to us, some are not. He repeated it daily, drilling it into his mind until it became second nature. This principle is now backed by modern therapy techniques, like the circle of control, which teaches people to focus only on what they can change, like their actions, thoughts, and responses. Everything else, not worth your stress. You can't control traffic, but you can control how you react to it. You can't control what others say, but you can control whether you take it personally. You can't control random bad luck, but you can control how you move forward. Letting go of control feels unnatural at first, because your brain wants certainty. But the more you practice, the freer you become. Overcoming confirmation bias. Why the Stoics challenged themselves. Your brain doesn't like to be wrong. It filters information to confirm what you already believe. That's why most people live inside mental echo chambers, refusing to question their views. But the Stoics embraced discomfort. They knew that real wisdom comes from challenging assumptions, not clinging to them. Epictetus said it best. It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. So how did the Stoics break free from this mental trap? They practiced self-examination, constantly questioning their own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Instead of assuming they were right, they asked, "What if I'm wrong?" Instead of seeing emotions as facts, they examined them. Is this thought helping me or making me weaker? Instead of blaming others, they took responsibility. How can I handle this better next time? Today, cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) does exactly this. It teaches people to identify and challenge distorted thinking patterns, just like the Stoics did thousands of years ago. The bottom line, the Stoics were ahead of their time. What's fascinating is that Stoicism predicted modern psychology long before science could prove it. CBT and Stoicism both teach that thoughts shape emotions. Mindfulness and Stoicism both focus on living in the present. Resilience training today is built on Stoic ideas of adversity. So, when your brain resists Stoic thinking, don't be surprised. It's wired for survival, not wisdom. But the good news? You can train it, and that's exactly what the Stoics did. How to reprogram your brain, starting now. Here's the truth. Your brain isn't your enemy. It's just running on outdated software, a system designed for survival, not wisdom. But here's the good news. You can update that software. Just like training your body in the gym, you can train your mind to resist negativity, let go of control, and challenge faulty thinking. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's mental training. Here's how you start. Catch your biases, become the observer. Most people go through life on autopilot, reacting emotionally without even realizing it. But if you want to master your mind, the first step is awareness. Throughout your day, start noticing when your brain falls into these patterns. Are you focusing only on the negatives? That's negativity bias in action. Are you frustrated about something you can't control? That's the control illusion. Do you reject opinions that challenge your beliefs? That's confirmation bias. The trick? Detach from your thoughts and just observe them. Next time you catch yourself ruminating or getting upset, don't judge yourself. Just ask, wait, is this my brain's old programming kicking in? That simple pause is powerful. It stops you from reacting blindly. Interrupt the pattern, stop feeding the cycle. Once you notice a mental glitch, the next step is to interrupt it. Think of your brain like a DJ playing the same track on repeat. Negativity, control, frustration. Your job? Scratch the record. Break the loop. Here's how. When you feel frustration kicking in, challenge it. Is this under my control? If not, let it go. Imagine literally dropping it like a heavy weight. When negativity creeps in, reframe it. What's the lesson here? Even setbacks can be training. When you catch yourself defending a belief, flip the perspective. What if I'm wrong? What would a Stoic do? The moment you do this, you're not just reacting anymore, you're choosing. That's how you take back control. Train daily, strengthen your Stoic muscle. Stoicism isn't a mindset, it's a muscle. And like any habit, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. Here's how to build mental strength every day. Morning Stoic prep. Before you start the day, remind yourself, some things are up to me, some are not. Set your mind before the world sets it for you. Premeditation of evils. Visualize challenges before they happen. If you expect discomfort, it won't surprise you. End of day reflection at night. Review your reactions. Where did I let my brain control me today? What will I do differently tomorrow? Consistency is key. The Stoics trained daily because they knew that wisdom isn't something you have, it's something you practice. Are you ready to take back control? Your brain wants to resist Stoicism. It wants to react emotionally, cling to control, and avoid discomfort. But here's the real question. Are you in charge, or is your brain? If you're ready to rewire your mind and master your emotions, start now. Choose one Stoic practice today. And let me know in the comments, what's the hardest mental habit for you to break? Like, subscribe, and take control of your mind. I'll see you in the next one.